Today's guest on Only Human is Taylor Suydam. This is the second episode that we have together, so if you missed the first one, I'm going to put a link in the top right-hand corner for you to check out. Otherwise, enjoy the podcast. For me personally, when I go on Tinder, like my weakest game is the talking phase over the phone. Like, I want to hear what your take is on that, because like, not on like my situation, but like, how do you feel about the talking phase on stuff like Tinder and Bumble?
Okay, yeah, I'll start with the dating apps. So I actually technically I met my ex-boyfriend through Tinder. I didn't really like it wasn't like, "Oh, hey, let's go on a Tinder date. Ha ha ha." It was more like, "Hey, I'm gonna be at this bar at this time, like if you're by, like whatever, like I'm
All
with
right.
my stop by, whatever." Um, I don't know. I honestly like don't take Tinder and like Hinge and all that super seriously anymore. Like, I don't
Wait,
know. It
describe
sucks here in
describe the
South
difference. Like,
Carolina.
what is serious, taking it serious look like to you?
Um, I think me and a lot of other girls in general, I'm pretty sure what we like to do is go on and pretty much just get like validation that we're pretty and we can get guys and stuff like that. And
That's
then
real.
like just that.
Okay,
Um,
there is an
I go
alarming. Oh, sorry. Keep going, and I'll share my take real quick.
I go through these phases where like I'll have a Tinder and a Bumble, whatever, and then I don't. And I just like delete it because I'm like, I don't really like I don't know, I get bored and I go on and I swipe for fun and I don't do anything about it. And I just honestly, I just, like, don't need that validation anymore. So I
Yeah,
sometimes I'll bring it back. If I'm, like, in a bad mood or whatever, I'm like, "Yeah, let's just download it for funsies. Why not?"
right.
But
I mean, like, I'll say that like dudes do the same thing. They don't want to say that though, but I know like all of my friends do the same thing. But it's different. Like the reason why I like having this conversation right now is because the amount of women that I've like talked to who've admitted to just downloading Tinder for free food is like actually
Oh
disturbing.
god.
Like,
I actually
it's
have not
common,
gone on any dates like that, though.
really.
Like, I think that's, like, way too serious for me, like, way too serious. Like,
It's a big commitment. I'm like, that's a big commitment just to get food, right? Like,
it
that's
is, like, yes, that's a huge commitment. Hell no.
yeah,
Literally what I do is if I match with them, sometimes I'll see them at the bar, like, I won't even, like, talk to them, like, not that. I won't, like, talk to them and plan, like, "Hey, I'm gonna be at this bar if you're gonna be there." Like, it just so happens that I'm there and they're there, and they're like, "Hey, I know you from whatever," and I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah, this is fucking weird as hell."
So, I mean, do you prefer like not that you like? How do you handle those situations? Like, is it too weird that you feel like
Um,
you would rather not experience that, or is it better than talking on Tinder? Like, you know what I mean?
no, like, it's not I don't think it's I mean, it's weird at first, but, like, I don't know. Honestly, I would rather just meet someone out rather than meeting someone on Tinder or a dating app in general. I'd rather just, like, find someone at a bar that I think is cute or find someone out that I think is cute and then talk to them instead of having to
Okay.
do, like, an online relationship
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah. The reason why I don't like Tinder and that is because first of all, it's like not that party wants to take it seriously, but it's like in order to like get a lot out of it, you sort of have to play the game, like play the game. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Mhm.
it's so like even when it comes down, and it's like it's not even like a personal thing where it's like they took too long, but on an app or like in a environment like Tinder, it's like if someone takes like a day to respond, then like you immediately forget about them. You know what I mean? It's like if they take too
Yeah.
long, there's just too many people that you're talking to, then it's just like it's nothing about them, but it's just like the structure of the app, like they're gone. So
I don't even have, like when I do have the apps currently I don't. I don't have them, but, when I do have them, I don't even have my notifications on. Like, I don't
yeah,
even wanna see, like, a notification come from Bumble or Tinder or Hinge and be like, "Hey, you got a match. Hey, this person's messaging you." Like, I would rather just not.
yeah, I don't know, and they suck. Like all the conversations suck. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, as a dude, like I don't even know if you've like even tried to like hold a conversation, but as a dude, I feel like a lot of dudes actually try their best to like I don't know, like be charismatic on the app, but it's like nowadays and
Yeah.
maybe it's like a it has to be maybe just dudes who've used it during college and now that they're out of college they're just like tired of it. But um using the apps now, and if there's like a boring texter on the other like end, it doesn't matter like how attractive they are, how cool you think they are, it's like they're immediately gone. So it's
Dead.
weird. It's like I
Yeah.
don't know if it's just like us like coming out of college and we're using the app and like this is bullshit and like we recognize it as bullshit, or it's just like there's like a cultural shift because I don't know, like using the apps like siphons my soul. Like I'm like I hate this.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's why I wouldn't have my notifications on because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, I used it this 1 second. I don't wanna be reminded that I used it." Like, I don't know, it's weird, but usually if I'm, like, interested in someone or think I'm like, I could possibly see myself, like, talking to them or whatever, I'll either be like, "Hey, follow me on Instagram," or, "Hey, here's" usually I'll have them follow me on Instagram first just so I can stalk them, and then if I'm like, "Okay, they're, like, not as weird as I would think," like, then I'm like, "Alright, maybe I'll add them on Snapchat,"
Okay, wait,
and
hold
that's
up.
about as far as it goes.
You your first like okay, because whenever I think of a girl when she says come follow me on Instagram, that's when I usually unmatch because I'm like I feel like it's a ploy to get a follower. I'm like
Yeah.
right,
No,
but
I
you
just think you could figure out more from someone's Instagram profile, so that's usually how I run it.
interesting. Did you have your Instagram on your profile?
I don't know if I did or not. I went through phases of, like, I would have it on and have it off, I don't know. I'm really weird about dating apps because I don't know.
Hmm.
They just make me feel gross.
You want to talk about that? Because I'm interested.
I don't know, I just feel like I shouldn't have to use an app to meet people, like,
Yeah.
call me old fashioned, but
No, I agree completely. And it feels not I mean, it's not organic like by definition, but it feels like grimy and like robotic to be paired
it
with someone.
does.
And yeah, like and dates are almost always not they're not always awkward, but it's like texting is the most inefficient way to read anyone. And so that's why I'm like it's
Yeah,
what you said earlier about like meeting someone like even if it's like just at a bar. It's like that's way better because like body language and everything is so important. So I don't know.
yeah, exactly.
Like part of me feels confident knowing that like I'm ready like for COVID to get like lifted so I can like go and like cuz I'm so like ready to go and like talk to random people. Like I never was one of the I mean, I always enjoyed the aspect of like talking to people in bars, like random people, but it was never something that I was like I can't wait to like this weekend just go chat up strangers in the bar.
Yeah,
But now I'm like that's all I can look forward to. It's like
you
one of the
don't
main
know what
things.
you have until you lose it.
Actually though, I'm like damn. And like is even if it's like I met some like even like some like wacky dudes who like I have like no business talking to, but then like we'll like strike a conversation up, and it's like I don't know, like I miss that a lot, and
Yeah,
so I don't know, and I mean I'm not like the most like charismatic person ever, but I feel like,
neither am I.
but like Tinder and stuff, like I feel like a lot of people are um not getting comfy with it, but I can tell when someone's just like not prepared to like have like a spur of the moment conversation. You know what I mean? Like this goes for guys too. Like I'm not
Yeah,
saying like approaching someone who's like not ready, but it's like I feel like, and I sound like a boomer already, but like dating apps are like ruining like the entire experience of dating, and like I want to know your take on that.
yeah. I think they're nice at first, like, it's nice to see I don't know, I think Cincinnati's Tinder game and, like, just dating app game in general was so much better than down here in South Carolina, but, it's just nice to see, like, people that you might have not seen in your city as well,
Okay.
Um, because I don't know, I'm, like especially I don't know, down here, especially, I'm, like, just confined to, like, my pharmacy class, and, like, that's who I know, and then I know some of my friends and their friends, but so I don't pretty much is what I'm saying is that when I first came down here, like, those are the first things that I downloaded. I first downloaded, like, dating apps and stuff like that just to see, like, who's down here, like, I'm new, maybe I wanna meet someone, maybe I wanna
Right.
find, like, places to go and stuff like that,
Get a
but
feel
now that
for
I'm
it. Right.
here yeah, now that I'm, like, here, like, it's just kinda boring, and I know, like, where to go if I wanna find someone, like, my age, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
go to, like, freshman bars and stuff like that and
Yeah.
whatnot, but Like, I know what I'm doing now, and I don't think I need, like, a crutch of a dating app to help me.
Yeah. So after a certain point, like I just want to summarize because like I feel you 100%. Is that like it's sort of like an intel gathering tool immediately. It's like
Yeah,
exciting then because it's like you are learning a bunch and you're seeing people and learning where to go. But it sort of like
yeah,
shrinks down like a validation tool that like only lasts like a few days,
yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I feel like the utility that you're talking about is like that's the best way that people should use it, to be completely honest. Like a very, very casual way of like seeing what like
Yeah,
your city is like. Um,
which is not at all what it's for, but
right.
it's helpful.
Yeah. I don't know. I like stuff like that. Like it's okay, so it's one thing like when we all grew up playing like my friends and I we grew up playing video games and I feel like an outsider would have said that like our social skills would have dwindled with the amount of video games we played, but I feel like out of like
Mhm,
any other like group of people since we were talking to each other all day at school and then we were talking to each other all day online. And it wasn't just like a few friends, it was like basically every other dude who played video games in middle school and high school was like eventually in the same like party. So you guys were like always talking to each other. So it's like in actuality that
mhm.
like helped us socialize. So like I feel like it had an opposite effect. So like I'm curious on what your take is for like long-term effects of stuff like Tinder and if they have like a place in the future. Because like before you say anything, like I feel like I want to frame it in a way like, do you think that like they're here to stay like indefinitely just because of like the way that society is going, or like do you think that they're going to be like changed massively?
I think they will stay. I don't know if I'll be using it when I'm, like, older. I feel like it's more of, like, a college thing, and, like, if I definitely move to another city, I would for sure use it. I don't know, I think every city is kinda different on, like, what population uses it. But I don't know, I think it's gonna stay. I don't see it ever leaving, especially in college anytime soon.
Okay.
Like, as
Then
much as you hate it, like, you're gonna download it again and delete it and download it again and delete it, and it's just gonna be, like, a little cycle.
I mean it's like you're right because it's like it's such a good like what you said earlier, it's like such a good like first sweep. Like if you want to just
Mhm.
like take a shot in the dark, like one of your best like chances of just like I shouldn't say like a casual experience. It sounds like too grimy, but like I don't know, like getting like a what you said earlier. Like I don't know, brand new to a city, and you want to go and do something. I feel like one of your best tools to go and do something like the first week you're there is something like Tinder.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree about that. But like there are other things like on Bumble they offer like that Bumble Friends thing, so they kind of like
Mhm.
switched it up, and it's funny because to me like I always had this thing where I was like, who would ever like want to go find a friend on Bumble? Like I feel like the people, and this sounds like shitty, I guess, but it's like the people who would use that service, like I don't know. And so it was like I've always felt like suspect. I was like, interesting Bumble friends, and so like I talked to people, and they've also said the same thing. Like I don't want to use that service because it's like I don't want someone who's using that service to be my friend. And then
Yeah,
like you
I
sort of
do yeah, I get that.
right.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, so it's weird, but then it's like at the same time, it's like I can't help but apply that logic to the apps as a whole. Like why would you ever want to date someone who's using these dating apps,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, I see these TikToks where it's like when you meet someone on Tinder, but then remember he has a Tinder or something like that, and it's, like, so true. It's like, I don't wanna date anyone that's on a dating app, but at the same time, here I am on a dating app.
Yeah. No, it's like the weirdest thing ever because it's like never me, but then it's like you're not any different. But like I
Yeah.
don't know. Like it's how do I say this? Um, like I when I was in college and I was on like every social media site and I was on every dating app, I was like, how could anyone not be on these things?
Mhm.
But in like a certain mind frame or mindset like reframe, I'm like, I don't want anyone who's on these things. Like I'm curious what your take is. Like if there's a balance, like I'm sure there's a balance. Like there's always a balance. But like in terms of being on these sites in general, like what's your take on like dating someone who is on social media often and someone who's on these apps?
At this point, like, I don't care. At first, I was kinda like, when we all go back to Hudson and stuff like that, and, like, during the holidays and you find people on Tinder and Hinge and Bumble, whatever the fuck you use, and you see, like, people from your high school and you're kinda like, "Wow, this is embarrassing." Like, this is kinda cringe that they can see that I have, like, a dating app. And eventually, like, I got over it and I'm like, "I don't care because I'm on it, but they're also on it, so,
Yeah.
like, what are you gonna say?"
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
I'm just, like, over it. I don't care at this point. Like, it's not a big deal. I don't see a threat to it either. So,
So even like on it from a character standpoint, like, because okay, like the argument that I see myself like using a lot is basically what you said earlier about the validation thing, to the point where and this sounds like, because we're all imperfect and what I'm about to say sounds so like elitist, but someone who uses the app for validation and they're in a talking phase with you, it's like, that it's bound to not like be something organic, because that's what the app
yeah.
is being used for. So I can't help but think, like, because I know that I'm like, sometimes I'm on there because I'm bored, and it's like that's just the fact of the matter. But then when you catch yourself, you're like, it's like you take the wind out of your own sails. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the same thing goes, like, this might be a whole different conversation and we can take it that way, but like, what's your take on like because you can't date everyone you see on Tinder, and I mean, maybe for like certain women, like most dudes would like swipe on you, but like in case for like the average looking person, it gives you like a false sense of abundance. And I don't think like this would actually like play out in the future in most cases at all, but I can't help but think that that false sense of abundance makes people give up on maintaining like romantic relationships. Like they wouldn't put more effort. They wouldn't put as much effort in if these things didn't exist, or
Yeah, I
if
know
they
what you
did exist. You know
mean.
what I mean? Yeah. So
Yeah. But at the same time, like, if you're on Tinder for, like, a while, you realize that, like, nothing's happening from it. Like, yeah, you might have all these people that swiped on you, but, like, at the end of the day, is anyone really pursuing you? And that sounds bad, but, like,
no, I know what you mean.
you kinda need to, like, humble yourself and be like, I don't know.
Yeah, because like by nature of it, like it doesn't promote anything that's like long lasting or healthy. But um, yeah, because I feel like when you leave a site or like any like application, social media app, like I feel like you should be able to leave it and feel like that you like built something that at least like sort of healthy. Like I don't know, like Instagram profiles are sort of like fun to build and they're not like,
Mhm.
I don't know. But like what you said about Tinder, it's like, I don't know, like at the end of the day, it's very hollow. And so,
It is, yeah.
yeah,
And, like, some people can find people I mean, like, obviously I did, and that was the longest relationship I've been in. Um, so, like, it's possible, like, and no hate to anyone that finds someone off of Tinder, like, I think it's super common at this point, and I know at least a few people that have found their boyfriends off of a dating app, and, like, if you find someone, good for you, but, like, at that same time, like, I feel like there's not a lot of people that are taking it seriously, which also, like, isn't a bad thing, I guess. Because if you take it too seriously, it's kinda weird as well. I don't know. There's, like, a weird, like, line between,
yeah,
like,
yeah. I
what you're looking for.
Same with me is that the person who I dated the longest was also on Tinder, and I think some of like the longest lasting relationships out of like all that I've seen is have always been outside of dating apps. And the longest Tinder relationship that I saw, I thought would actually be like a long term thing for sure. It was like 2 years, which is still like a really like that's a long time for like a Tinder
Yeah.
thing. But I've never seen anyone get married, even like online. Like I've never seen anyone say like I married like someone. I mean, it's not really something to broadcast, but it's like I've never heard of like stories where people have actually had like successful long term things, which is like it's advertised as a hookup app, but I feel like people still ignore that and they still go into the app like hoping that it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Because it doesn't even matter how you advertise it. Because like I feel like, because even I got to the same point too. It's like I was on there and I was like, I'm actually swiping now to like find someone to date, but I'm like, back of my mind, I'm like, this isn't the place. But it's like I
Nah,
want it to be the
yeah.
place because it's so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but then, at the same time, it's
But
like,
yeah, like,
what? Go for it.
well, so Jen obviously like moved to Atlanta and she's living with Matt, her boyfriend, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't have any friends down here. Like, I just moved down here. No one's down here with me besides my boyfriend." And I was like, "Dude, you probably don't know this, but like because you've been in a relationship for like I don't know, since high school, but like you can download Bumble and like find like friends." Like I know that's weird. I mean, if you're in a city alone and like you're not going out because you're a teacher and you're teaching online, like you're not meeting anyone, you might as well get it. And she was like, "No, I actually like downloaded it. Like I have it right now and like my two friends are from Bumble down here." And I was like,
Oh wow,
"Nice." Yeah. I know I actually have like a decent amount of friends that like found each other off of Bumble Best Friends,
no
which
way.
is interesting. Yeah, more than
Oh
I would
shit.
think. So
Then I take
I
back then
kind of
what I
keep that in the
said.
back of
That's
my
cool.
head. Yeah, and, like, I'm
Hmm.
like, "Oh, well, if I ever had to move to another, like, city, then maybe that's an option."
I stand corrected then. Because
Yeah,
in Jen's situation, that makes a lot of sense. Where it's like you literally have no other choice, so it's like that's like
yeah,
a good avenue. So
yeah,
yeah,
she literally has no way to meet people. She's not going to bars, she's not out working and stuff. She's in her house working and yeah.
yeah. Hmm. Then yeah, I guess my original take was a little bit harsh. Because even in normal conditions, like I can see there are definitely cases where it's like, okay, yeah, but yeah, that situation is that's sort of a lifesaver. Because new cities too, without any friends, like even
Yeah,
going to college without like knowing anyone,
rough.
yeah, that sucks. So that's interesting. Um,
Yeah,
okay, so this is like sort of in the same conversation, but um, like social media nowadays, like there's a huge, like I went through a phase where I thought that there would be no way that I wouldn't have like at least one social media profile,
huh,
and I used to think it was weird if someone didn't have like either a Snapchat, Twitter, or Instagram. Like now that I say that, I'm like, it's like I don't even know like what it was. It's like kind of embarrassing. It's like I don't even know why I thought that, but um, it was always weird. Like if someone didn't have an Instagram, I was like, why don't you? Like what do you do? Like if you don't have a
sus.
Snapchat, it's like wait, yeah,
Yeah.
it's suspect. But it's like now I don't use my Twitter at all. I don't use my Snapchat at all. It's to the point where I shouldn't even like have active accounts. And then I use my Instagram only to like promote this podcast. So nowadays I'm like I don't really care if someone has social media. So like what's like do you have any preferences in terms of like
Yeah, I
people who you
completely
date?
disagree with you. I think you have to
Really?
have social media
Okay.
just to, like yeah. I don't know if that's because 'cause I'm just still in college and it's still very I don't know, it's used a lot, and that's kind of how I kind of at the same time, I kinda use Instagram to meet people at the s like, too.
Okay. Meet people like around you or just like in general? Meet people.
Kind of, yeah, like, just having, like, mutual friends and stuff like that, and I don't know, random people follow you and you're like, "Eh, they're pretty cute, maybe I'll follow them back even though I don't know them," or something like that, like,
Okay.
something stupid, and usually nothing comes from it, but, like
Yeah. I see you. That's like a healthy way to use it. I can definitely see that. What was I gonna say though regarding that? Um
but, like, so at it's funny because I got together with Jensen, winter break, and we were like, I don't know, we were talking about Snapchat and how old like we feel like boomers, and I was like, "Dude, you should see my friends in South Carolina, like, they have, like, 400-day streaks with people that aren't even on their top friends."
Oh,
I was
damn.
like, "I can barely hold, like, a 30-day, like, streak, let alone, like, have multiple streaks with multiple people and them not even be on my friends list." Like,
That's insane.
it's so funny because it's so different. It's so different.
Yeah, so that's thank you for saying that because like I feel like I'm so detached from like that's not that's reality, but there's like that's how it is down there. For me, it seems like no one uses Snapchat anymore, but that's not the case at all. Like people use Snapchat,
Well,
but
yeah,
never.
and
I didn't think it
then
was to that degree, so that's interesting. But keep going.
yeah, and I don't like talking like, I don't like having conversations over Snapchat. Like, number 1, I swear to God, I have, like, dementia. I forget what I say in like, 5 minutes later,
Yeah,
and I just think it's, like, also very sus to talk to someone over Snapchat, but I don't know. I have some people say that, like, Snapchat's their main form of, like, communicating with people, and I don't know. I don't trust that.
I don't know. Like even when I like I'm with you on that because like to me, and you can I want to like hear if you agree or disagree, but for me, it was always like Snapchat was usually like the middleman to get someone's phone number. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
And so like, and it's the same thing with like you said. It's like I don't like I turn off my Snapchat notifications and with the disappearing messages, so it's like I don't ever like check it often. And when I do check it, I forgot what I said. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so it's like I don't know. And like Snapchat does have that uh like notoriety of being like not like sleazy, but like how you
Yeah.
said it's like sort of suspect. It's not
It
like a
is.
formal conversation when you text. So like yeah,
No.
I hear that. But
And everything disappears. It's like, "What are you
I'll
saying
say
to me that you can't say over text?"
right. But I'll say like in college it was kind of cool cuz like meeting people at a bar at a party whatever and then you'd like snap them like later that week.
Yeah.
That was cool. Um but to me, do you feel like your standards of maintaining relationships has been raised? And this goes for like friendships too. Like do you think like the amount of that someone has to put effort into your relationships to maintain them should be higher after college or
It really depends. I don't know. Like, friendship-wise, a lot of the time, my best friends are not even on my top friends list because I'm with them all the time, and I don't think about, like, Snapchatting them.
right.
Um, and then, like, if you took away school and we're in, like, different cities, like, yeah, I think you would have to, like, try harder to maintain a friendship just because 'cause you're not seeing them every day or even
Right.
a relationship in general. Um, I don't know.
Okay, I'll ask you a different question then. So, do you think that social media apps like Snapchat make it easier to maintain relationships? And I want to like, it sounds like a trick question, but like, do you think it actually is um, like it plants like stable methods for you to like maintain relationships? Because I know that's like, it sounds like with Snapchat, it's like sort of like a lazy thing to like send a Snapchat, but like at the same time, it's like you are making the effort to go out of the way to communicate with someone. So is it
Yeah.
like a lazy thing or is it just like an easy tool to use?
No, I think it's an easy tool to use. Like, if you're not tr if you don't wanna, like, have, like, a text like, I don't know, I text people when I, like, need something or wanna talk about something, like, it's like, I text with intent, whereas
Right.
Snapchat is more kinda, like, just free flowing and, like, if you wanna just I don't know. You don't
No,
have
I
to
hear
have,
you.
like, a big conversation, you know? It's just it's
Yeah.
very casual, and at least you know that, like, you have some type of communication.
Yeah, like the fleeting aspect because I'm with you on that. It's I've noticed that my texting is like gone to the point where if someone does hit me up with like a random conversation, I'm actually like, what do I do with this? Like, I
Yeah.
remember like this vividly because like in college, I think people was sort of on the same wave where it's like if they wanted to hit you up for something that was like like needed, they would text you, so you get a response like quick, and then Snapchat was like for everything goofy and the rest. But like when I started
Yeah.
working at this one place after college, um, one of my coworkers just like hit me up, and then I was like waiting for them to tell me like what they wanted, and I was like, "What's going on?" And like they just like kept like going in the casual conversation about like their day and stuff and like how my day went. I'm like, this is so weird. Like this
It
also
is weird,
sounds like
yeah.
it's like I don't know like when you're in college and maybe this is millennial of me, but like I feel like it is so easy to get not jaded, to get tunnel vision in that culture. Like it is so easy to think that like this is the way that things are and this is the way things should be, and then like
Yeah.
going on like
Yeah.
that is actually one of the biggest. I'll try to make an argument for it just for like, because now that I'm thinking about it, like this is actually pretty big and no one talks about it. Is that there's a huge transition if you don't go into workplace with other recent college grads. Like I think it's pretty safe to say that you have no idea. Like not no idea. Like there's no social uniformity that there is in college. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I shouldn't say social uniformity. Is that fair? I don't know.
Yeah, I
Like,
think so.
yeah.
Like, if there wasn't someone my age working with me, I probably would not know how to communicate with them. Like, I
Yeah.
mean that really loosely, like,
I know what you mean.
I know that if I have someone my age, like, I can text them, I can Snapchat them, I can do whatever, like, they don't care,
Exactly.
they probably have it. Whereas, like, someone older, I'm kinda like, "Do they text? Do I have to call these people?" Like,
Yeah. Do I have to be formal
you
about
know?
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's an interesting question that I just thought off the top. Okay. When you approach new people at work or in class, are you usually the first person to be casual and like your authentic self and like take like conversational risks, if you like know what I mean, or like do you play it safe and like wait for them to?
I usually play it safe.
Okay.
Unless I'm at a bar and have, like, 3 drinks in me, then I don't, like, give a fuck, and I'm just like, "I'll do whatever I want because 'cause I'm the prettiest person here, so
Right.
anyone's lucky to talk to me."
Like I don't. It's like
Oh god, love alcohol, huh?
right. Two Christmas sales and it's over.
Oh my
Um,
god, 2 Christmas sales and I have a headache in the morning that I can't get rid of.
I used to be able to handle Christmas ale, but then that ship has sailed a long time ago. I mean, it's like
Yeah, no.
thank God for Great Lakes, though. I'll
I
say
love
that.
them, but they're dangerous as hell.
Yes, that's for sure. Um, yeah, like what are we talking about, like formalities and stuff, or being formal? Yeah, like even like in class, like all like when I'm like in a professional setting, I'll be like as rigid until I see like a supervisor or like a manager like crack a joke or something. Like I have to like maintain that professional. Like maybe that's because like I feel like Hudson did a pretty good job of, like acting cordial. Like maybe I'm like giving them too much credit, but like out of like the entrepreneurship classes and like the business classes that I took at Hudson, like they did a pretty good job of um like etiquette and like
Knowing how to
professionalism.
formally yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that though, because I had an in-person class today and it's called like pharmacy careers and pathways. So it's just like there's so many careers in pharmacy, it's stupid. And like, I don't know, I took a class on it, so like just because I needed an elective and I want to like know what else I can do with my degree.
That makes sense.
But we were talking about like how you deal with I don't know if have you ever taken the Berkman assessment?
Is that a personality test?
Pretty much. It's a very expensive one. I don't
Mm.
know. Our pharmacy school paid for us to do them, and it
Oh, that's
kinda just
cool.
tells you what kind of person you are and what your needs and interests are and all this stuff, but, um, you were, like, talking about how you you're, like, new to a job or something, and, like, how would you act around them? Like, do you play it more conservative, or are you more of, like, "This is who I am, and if you don't like it, whatever," but
Oh shit. Okay.
Um, we were saying I was at least saying how I kinda try to adapt to, like, different people, like, I will play it as conservative as I need to at first, and, then once I know that, like once I see how, like, they interact with other workers or, like, how they interact with me, then I'll become more personable,
Okay.
but I really I try to kinda mimic the energy that I'm given.
Yeah. I think I'm 100% with you on that. It's weird though, because like I feel like after a certain point that people will also like there will be coworkers that will assume that you're also like that, so they won't the same sort of way where they're gonna mirror. Like I feel like yeah, we're like like we're mirroring people until they do that, and then we can kind of open up. But I feel like
Yeah.
there are people who like do that because you're the new person, but then after a while, like they're like, well, this person is like remaining like super formal and professional, so I guess like I gotta like keep doing that. So like I don't think there's like a duty or
Yeah.
like a certain point, and maybe there is. Like I feel like there might be a certain point where like as the new person, like if the people who have been working there don't do it, you should be the one to take a risk. But it's like at the same time, I feel like as a as someone who's been working at said place, or you know, they should have some sort of like obligation by the social contract to like get you up to speed in the culture, right?
Hmm.
Like, do you agree? Like, I don't know. Like, if there was ever like a like if when I'm at work and there's a new person, like I have like no issue going up to them and like not being casual, like being authentic, but still like remaining like professional.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like, would you agree that there's like an obligation to like introduce yourself to a new coworker?
Yeah. I mean, I'm honestly not like I am a social person, but at the same time, I'm not a social person. I kind of like pick and choose when I want to be. And I'm not the best at like introducing myself to new people, but if I do see it that it's maybe someone that like I think that I could get along with or someone that I would make like a work friendship with,
Okay.
then I would introduce myself to them. I mean,
Okay.
eventually I would, but like it just kind of depends like when and if I don't know, if I'm gonna like keep it professional or actually show them my personality.
Okay. That's interesting. So it's
And then
sorry, keep going.
also like down here, number one, being in the South is completely different from being in the North. And
You gotta tell me about that,
um
but keep going because I need to hear
and
that.
also like being in pharmacy school, like all of our professors are doctors. So like we refer to them as doctor this, doctor that.
Mm.
Um and when we go on rotations, which is pretty much like we just kind of go like shadow different places and work for them for like a month, we're told that like we need to call our preceptors like doctor this. And
Hmm.
usually they'll be like, don't call me that, like my name is this, like just you can call me
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Um but yeah, there's definitely mm, okay, so I told you I have like a class that is online, but like you have to have your cameras on for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much this class where we take the information we were learned in another class and we get these patient cases and we pretty much have to like say how we would like what their problem is, how we would treat it. And then like kind of like a monitoring like follow-up thing, and it's super detailed. And they they will call on us for like questions about the case and stuff like that. And even like our professors will call us like Dr. Suydam, Doctor this. They're like, you need
Okay.
to like wear your white coat, like you are the doctor in this situation and you are like like you are in charge of what medicines they get. So like
That's
you
kind of cool.
have yeah, it is cool at the same time it's scary as hell. Um but yeah, and then like just being in the South in general, I learned really quickly that you have to call everyone ma'am and sir. Like I have these lady like in general, working at a pharmacy, like, people that are older than me call me ma'am. I'm like, "This is weird." Like, I am not a ma'am. Like, a 70-year-old, 60-year-old, like, they call me ma'am, and I'm like, "It's so rude for me to not call them ma'am back." Like, this is like,
Oh, I
I
see.
had to pick it up so fast. And,
Interesting.
like, likewise with sir. And then, also, I realized my dad always hated when I would when he would ask me a question or say something and I didn't hear it, and I go, "What?" Like, that's really rude, like, whatever, and it never stuck to me. I was like, "Yeah, whatever, that's a habit that's not going away." But now, like, it's like, if you say "what" to someone, it's, like, really rude, so now I always just say, like, "I'm sorry," and then they'll, like, tell me what
Oh,
to like, I will
interesting.
never say "what." I will never say "what."
So that's more of like a what? Why are you talking to me, or what? Like, how does that perceived?
Yeah, it's
So it's
just
like
it
disrespectful or
seems
something?
yeah,
Okay.
and same thing with, like, ma'am and sir, like, if you don't use ma'am and sir, then, like,
Very
they know,
interesting.
number 1, you're not from here, and number 2, like, it's not respectful whatsoever.
There was someone who went to Hudson in middle school who was from the South, and they said ma'am and sir. Like, I feel like they turned in like a little like military like discipline ma'am and sir thing. It was like the most insane thing I've ever seen. I was like chill,
It
it's
is
my
crazy,
mom.
yeah.
But they're like, yes ma'am, no ma'am. It was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like they're like, I'm from the South. It's like how we do it. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, it's very serious, yes.
So have you
What was I
carried
gonna
that on when
say?
you go and visit Hudson? Sorry for my interruption,
Yes,
but
that's exactly where I was gonna go. So,
okay.
when I, like, come to Hudson and I had to make, like, doctor's appointment for my nose at some point, like, a follow-up, and, um, I would just say, like, "Yes, ma'am," like, they would ask me questions, "Yes, ma'am." They're like, "You are such a good child, like, you have really good manners." And they'd be like literally one lady was like she, like, laughed at me after I said, like, "Ma'am," like, after the 3rd time,
Uh,
like, saying, "Yes, ma'am." And I was like, "LOL, haha," just to myself, and then, like, the next time I said it, she was like, "I wish my kids had manners like you," and I was
damn.
like, "I did not grow up with these manners, like, I learned these, like, and now I'm just a robot," like, I always say it.
That's funny. Like, I feel like that, like, I would perceive it the same way that they did. Like, that's like good manners. Like, that's cool. But I feel like in certain environments, like if a guy was called sir too many times, I feel like are you fucking with me? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, why you keep calling me sir? But I guess like that's like a respect thing down there. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's
It's like,
like
yeah.
it's very serious.
Have you gotten used to the fact that like older people were calling you ma'am like
Yeah, I'm used
constantly?
to it now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
younger people call me ma'am too, and I'll call people younger than me ma'am or sir as well, like,
so there's gonna
it's
go. It's
something where, like, I had to mimic it because it made me feel like shit when I wouldn't,
yeah.
because I felt like I was being so disrespectful.
So you're gonna get to a point where you get offended when people don't call you ma'am, right? Like I feel like that's inevitable if you stay in the South.
Maybe,
I can see it.
maybe. If
I don't
people,
know.
like, do or don't call me
If
ma'am,
they
is that
don't
what you're
call you ma'am,
saying?
like in this, like if someone forgets to call you ma'am in the South, like I feel like you're gonna get slighted. You're like,
No
oh
one
my,
in the South forgets to call you ma'am, I will
okay,
tell you that right now. No one forgets. No
that's
one
interesting.
forgets.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like we have any sort of like equivalent thing up here.
No,
Like
not at
there's
all.
nothing
Like
that's taken seriously like that.
and when I go back to Hudson, I get made fun of for saying ma'am and sir. I'm like, "This is conditioned in me now, and I will always be like this at this point."
Yeah, like if you do anything anomalous in terms of like anything that's like more than casual, I feel like you do get roasted for it or at least called out for it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like there are so
Yeah.
many people like let me think of a response. But that's funny that you brought that up cuz like it is like if you it's not like uppity, but like it's like if you say these sort of things, it's like it's an immediate like don't think that nothing it's not like a you're better than me sort of thing, but it's like it's always like a social check. It's like cool it, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like
Yeah.
you pick it up when I'm putting down.
Yeah, I do.
It's
I'm
like
just,
a
like, so used to it down here.
hmm. Do you like it that way? Like, do you like that
I
polite
do.
society
I
sort
think
of
it's
thing?
like I I do, and I remember when I was in high school and I had a guy over and he called my dad sir, and my dad, like, thought it was like, instantly turned my dad's, like, favorite. It's just, like, something
Interesting.
very respectful, and it's I think it's mostly looked at it in a positive way.
Because I'll use it like a lot, but I feel like when I use it around people, they're like, "All right, yes, sir." Like, "Okay, yes, ma'am." You know what I mean?
Alright.
Like people like bring it up, but it's like I feel like, and I have no problem doing it, and like I know how it's received, so it's like, but I hear you. Like it's weird because it is such a tiny thing, but in the context that I do hear people use it, it is like a really nice and like professional thing, and no one uses it up here. Period.
Yeah,
So I feel like if people started using it, it
not
would
at
be like a
all.
huge like boost to like how they're perceived. Like
Mhm.
the story you just told about your dad. It's like just as like some like it's just like a dude you had over, but he called your dad sir, and it made all the difference. Like I don't know. It's like there's a lot of power
Yeah,
to that.
exactly.
So
There is, yeah.
yeah, but I like you talking about professors who say that like I'm doctor, but don't feel obligated like direct, like call me as doctor. Like
Mostly
I
it's mostly, like, coworkers, and by coworkers, I mean my pharmacists that are like, "Don't call me, like, doctor." I'm
oh, they
literally my
expect
name's
you to call your
Courtney.
coworkers doctor too?
Yeah, not like, I mean, our pharmacist, yes.
Oh, okay, okay. So
I will always call my professors doctor,
have any of your
always.
professors said call me by
No,
this? So do you think that
no.
respect of ma'am and sir is sort of transmuted to like you always call me doctor too? Like don't forget.
Yeah, mhm.
That's really interesting. Like I had a few. Do you think that's like a um like your university's culture, or do you think that's like a southern thing? Period.
I no, I think it's in general, like, an all around the place thing, like, even when I took science classes in Cincinnati, like, if they were a doctor, you were probably calling them doctor, like, they wanna be
Okay.
called doctor.
Hmm.
Um, and not like a, "Oh, I have my PhD," like, type of doctor, but, like, "I did, like, this many years in med school, like, call me fucking doctor, please."
Yeah, it's like I need to get something out of that fucking
Yeah.
time. Yeah, I don't know. Like there were some. Oddly enough, it was like the teachers that were like the most tenured, and maybe it's 'cause, like after a certain point they stopped giving a fuck. But like they like said like please call me by like my first name, even though they were like doctor this and like this prestigious part of school for this long. It was always like a very like casual thing. But um, I don't know. Like I feel like I would feel weird as a professor. Like I want to be taken seriously, but I don't want to be taken like super seriously, but at the same time
Too serious.
I wouldn't want like a student to call me by my first name. I don't know.
I have, like, one pretty relaxed professor, and he'll sign his emails, like, Doc, like, DOC, and then his last name,
Okay.
instead of, like, saying, like, doctor like, DR, he just puts Doc, just to
Okay.
make it a little casual,
Yeah, a little
but
bit more. Yeah.
that's about as casual I've seen it.
Yeah. Okay, so there's more like uniformity for. That's what I like, because also the issue that I have like nowadays is that there are some professors who are totally relaxed, but there are also tons of professors who are like very rigid and by the books and wouldn't ever like tolerate. Like I've ran into a lot of situations like very awkwardly where like I've like had interactions with two sort of casual. I shouldn't say casual because all my professors took their jobs like really seriously, but like
Yeah.
they're always like I don't know, like less rigid, I should say, to the point where like I could feel like I could be a little bit more relaxed and like not like casual, but like it wasn't strictly school talk. Like, we could joke about the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there were certain professors
Yeah.
who I would talk to, and then like it wouldn't be like offensive, but it was like I don't know. There's no room to like there are certain professors who like felt like I shouldn't say that they felt that, but I felt like I was wasting their time after like, and I'm not usually the person who goes and just like you know shoots the shit with like a professor who walks by, but like
Yeah.
I felt like I slighted some professors by like not taking them seriously enough. Like you know what I mean? Like this, my office hours aren't time
Mhm.
for even like the extra casual sentence that you included in your question. That you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
So I like that there's a uniformity down there that like from what you're describing at least it seems like it's a little bit easier to sort of like predict in your interactions because yeah I don't know, like I said before, like it's
We're
just
pretty
super
much
weird.
taught to be, like we're taught to be, like, the most formal at first until, like, told otherwise. So
But like when it's like I want to know like when does
So, like,
told otherwise
if
come
I'm meeting
though?
someone for the first time, like what'd you say? Sorry.
No, keep going, I'll ask it later.
So, like, if I'm meeting someone for the first time and I know that they're, like I mean, most of the people that I interact with that are higher than me are pharmacists, and they are doctors, but a lot of them don't go by doctor and then their last name.
Okay.
But we're taught that, like, we have to say, like, Doctor blank until they, like, tell you otherwise, just because it's a
Oh, I
formality.
see. Hmm. Have you worked in pharmacies down there?
Yes.
What is there a culture difference between Hudson CVS and pharmacies down there?
Um, like the first things that I obviously noticed were ma'am and sir, and I picked up on them really fast because you have to. Um, Other than that, not really. It's kind of just like the dialect.
Okay. Hmm.
It's funny though because down here, I swear I've had to like learn last names all over again because they'll say it in the southern accent and I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying. And I'll be like, "Can you spell it out?" And they spell it out and it's like brown or something, like something dumb that I know how to spell. And I'm like, "You are saying it completely different." And like I feel like a dumbass now.
Right, it looks
Like
bad
it's
on you,
so
but it's
bad.
like, wait, hold up. That's
I
funny.
literally yesterday I was working and I had to ask someone how they spelled their last name, and their last name was Riley, like Riley. And I was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah." I thought they'd say like
Oh
Raleigh.
shit.
I'm like, I would not spell it that way.
Damn. All right. Here's another really boring question, but I feel like I want to know this for anyone who spends a certain amount of time in like a different place. But like, have you started to say words in a southern accent?
Y'all. I say y'all. I don't
Y'all. Okay.
use accents because I just think I don't know. I see how people pick them up from being in a place so often, but, like, y'all is so efficient, and
Yeah.
it's gender neutral, it's not you guys, like, it's such a good word, I love it.
Do your professors use y'all in a professional setting?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, in,
So
like,
sort of slipped away
professional
because
settings,
yeah,
through emails, yeah,
emails.
mhm.
I feel like if you said y'all here, it was like you're like
It's
didn't give a shit about who you were talking to,
yeah,
right?
no, they I think it's hilarious because they use it in, like, professional emails,
Wow.
which is
I
kinda
wish we
nice.
had that. I don't know. Do you think that the North has or
No,
the Midwest has a? Yeah, there's nothing. I don't think
no.
there's anything equivalent. That sucks. We need that.
Another funny one I have learned from living down here for over a year now is that this is a big one. People get so annoyed when I say pop.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
I'll say
Cause
pop. I'll be like, "Yeah, I want a pop," and they'll be like, "A what?" And I was like, "Pop," and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "A fucking soda, okay?" And they're like, "Oh, I didn't even know what you were saying. Like, what did you call it?" And I was like,
they
"You
have to
guys
know. They have to
no,"
know.
and they some of them don't. Some of them don't, and it's so annoying. I was like, "This is one thing that you will never change because it's pop."
Yes. I remember when Jake Toth came to me and said, "What's pop?" when he thought he was fucking slick after he moved to Texas. I'll never forget that. But yeah, it it is weird because I went to Georgia
Yeah,
one time and
it's
I asked for
funny.
pop and like I was like, "What else do you say besides pop?" They're like Coke, but I'm like, "What if I don't want a Coke?" I was like, it's like, is
That's
everything a
where I draw the
Coke?
line. I'm like, you can yeah, you can't say there no. I get soda, but Coke, that's not no.
Yeah,
Just
because
shut the
soda is
fuck up
like,
if you say Coke, like
yeah,
and
soda
mean
is
like
like pop.
Sprite. Like, no.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
What Coke do you want? I don't even know what context they use that in. It's so whatever, dude. So lame. Like, I
It
don't know of
is.
any
Like, grow
single
up.
like I can't even think. I mean, I'm sure like I would pick up on this, like, because I have cousins from the South, and sometimes they would say like, "Oh, you say this." Like, I would like sometimes I'll end sentences like I'll say like, "Where's my coat at?" And like my
Uh-huh.
southern my family from like Georgia would be like, "That's like a Midwest thing," but like, I think nothing of it. But that's like the only thing that I can think of that like I say that as like a Midwest thing, but I feel like it's like not even.
Wait, how is
There's
that a
something.
Midwest thing?
I don't think it is. I think it was just like them from like the South and like they. I don't know. But like
They don't
that's
wear
what
coats?
I don't know. But like I don't think there's any like very characteristic Midwest. Maybe it's like
We
the
say that, but like, people would definitely disagree.
like
I'm
maybe it's the way that we
trying to
talk.
think of, like, a good one.
I don't know because I feel like when like foreigners do like you know exaggerated American accents, they go for like a Midwest accent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Another funny thing that I found working at a pharmacy is, like, I have my name tag that says, like, College of Pharmacy and, like, my first and last name on it, and something I've noticed just from working at, like, the CVS in Hudson to the CVS in Cincinnati to the CVS down here in Columbia is that there are, like, very common last names in each, like, location. So,
Hmm.
one of our patients, like, looked at my last name and he's like, "You're not from around here." I was like, I mean, my last name is Dutch, and he's like, "No, you're not, like, you're not from South Carolina. I
What the
can see your
hell?
last name." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm from Ohio, but, like, I don't think Suydam, like, screams Ohio." But, like,
Yo.
names that are common down here, like, things like Hutto, like Hutto, and same with
Hmm.
Kaiser. But, like, they just
Interesting.
know that I'm not from here. I
That's
try
but
so
that's a
hard to
weird though,
blend.
because I would never call someone out for like you're not around here. I mean, that's when I think of that, I think of a southern accent. So that's funny that you say that. That's a weird though. I wonder if
Yeah,
you're
it
gonna get
is
called
really
out
weird, like,
again. Interesting.
multiple people have called me out.
Multiple people called you out.
Yeah.
That's
I'm like, "How do you," like,
okay. That's
I don't know.
how many other Saddams is Saddam a popular last name? Because I haven't heard of anyone
No.
last name is Saddam before. Like after
No,
you.
not that I know of. Yeah, no.
That's it's kind of weird
Yeah,
to
I
me.
don't
Like
know.
I don't know.
Apparently there's some, like, sedans in Michigan and New York or something like that, but that's all I know. I don't
Okay.
know a lot. Some randos.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. It is cool having a unique last name though.
It
I
is.
don't know. Because I know of no one. The only people with cry last names have like the German translation. So like for the most part, I think there are only like a few, like one or two, and I'm pretty sure they're all my relatives. Like I don't think. Yeah. So
This is,
I don't
like,
even know what
completely
happened
off
there.
topic,
Go for it.
but I think about this a lot as a girl, is that one day I have to give up my last name, and I can't marry someone with a boring last name.
Okay.
Like, I can't do it. I will kill myself if I marry a Smith, and I have to be Taylor Smith.
Oh, because your name
Like, I don't
loses
know, it's
all
like
of
my
its.
personality trait.
No, I hear
Yeah,
you. Because if now that I'm doing the thought experiment, I'm first of all I'm thankful that I don't have to give up my last name. But like, yeah, hearing my
right?
name with some normal ass last name. No disrespect to Liam Smith and all of them, my bad. But yeah, I feel like I would like lose part of like my character. That's kind of that's a really
Yeah,
interesting thing. I'm glad that I don't have to deal with that.
yeah, and so, like, I think about it a lot because I'm gonna be a doctor, so I'm like, maybe I'll keep my last name or get it hyphenated or something like that. Maybe that'll make more sense, or that'll be a good excuse.
What's your take on hyphenated last names?
I hate it, they're so annoying.
Okay, I
So,
agree.
like, I don't wanna be that person, but at the same time, I don't wanna lose my last name. This is why I'm gonna end
Yeah.
up single forever. I'm never gonna get married, and it's just gonna be a last name thing. I'm gonna be like, "Nope, sorry, can't take it. Can't take your last name. We're done."
Yeah, because it's almost like not to say that it's gonna look as bad, but like hyphen Smith or whatever the way that they organize it is like almost just as bad as Taylor Smith.
Yeah,
We're some last name elitists. Damn. But
right?
yeah. All right, then what's your take on uh like women who do hyphenate names, like who don't want to give up their last name? It's kind of a hot topic.
I don't know, I don't really have it. I honestly don't have a big opinion about it just because in general, like, I don't even wanna give up mine, so, like, who am I to judge? Um, I don't know, honestly, they're just really annoying to deal with in the pharmacy, and that's the first thing I think of,
Okay.
but that's it. I don't have
Now you have me
any
thinking
hate
about that
towards
though.
people that want to keep their name.
I don't
Dude,
think
and,
it's.
like, trying to learn a new signature too.
Oh, that's. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I know.
That's like a. That is so weird to think about how you have to relearn something like that,
Yeah. 'Cause
bro.
I remember I helped someone in the pharmacy and she, like, was signing for her prescriptions and she was like, "Oop, I gotta clear that, like, that's not my last name anymore," and she's like, "No one ever talks about how hard it is to, like, write another last name, like, change your name pretty much," and I was like, "Damn, that's true. I don't wanna do that.
Yeah, it's weird
Another
because
thing I
like
gotta do."
I don't know, like seeing growing up with our moms, it's like it's weird that our moms like grew up and had entire lives
Had a
for
different
people.
name.
Yeah, I don't know that too is like
Yeah.
weird. It's like you know your mom is that, but like people for years, for like decades up to that
She's
point,
got
knew
a
that person.
completely
So
different identity.
yeah, dude, that is so weird because it's just a last name.
It's a big deal.
I'm gonna have like like actually like I'm having one right now, like an existential crisis over that because like it's just a last name, but the fact that you bring up the whole Smith thing, it's like hold the phone, like this is like this
Yeah,
sucks. It's a lot.
yeah.
It's a lot,
I have a
bro.
feeling I won't end up hyphenating my name, but
I
I'll be
mean,
real mad.
no disrespect, because I mean like if I in that position, I wouldn't want to give him my last name either. And like it's a weird
Yeah.
tradition in the first place, but like yeah, yeah, I don't know. That's a really interesting question though because I feel like it's one of those things. Maybe I think it's becoming a little bit more popular because like breaking like traditions is like I don't know less stigmatized,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
it is like a part like as we said like it's a small thing but it makes a huge difference. But I feel like it's not as like as serious. Maybe I'm like out of the loop.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like it's
No, I don't think
not seen
so.
as serious, but it's like it is relatively serious. Like how you frame it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Something you don't think about
Yeah.
until you're in that position.
Hmm. That's interesting. I feel like I wonder what percent of dudes would actually give up their last name if it was the opposite way around, because then that would start like a whole new, different thing. I feel like that wouldn't be a thing. I don't know.
No, that would not be a thing.
Guys want to make that
There's
happen
no
enough.
way.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no way.
Um, there was one thing I wanted to ask you. Um, during the conversation about the Southern accent thing, I need to remember it. Hold up. If you have anything to say to interrupt, I'll probably remember it. But let me think for a sec.
I kinda wanna go back to relationships.
Yeah, go for it, please.
You might have to edit this out and, like, place that back in there, whatnot, but,
It's okay. We go back.
um, something lately I've thought about, so, like, all my like, I know I've talked to you about this before, all my friends down here are, like, 21, most of them at least, because they did 2 years undergrad, and so, like, I'm 2 years ahead of most of them. And, like, my 3, like, best friends from Ohio, like, Jensen's living with her boyfriend in Atlanta. Hannah just got married. She's not Hannah Rajan anymore, she's Hannah
Yeah,
Johnston, and then my big, who I'm really close with from Cincinnati, just got engaged. Like,
yeah.
there's all my home friends, like, all wifed up and whatnot, and I'm here, and, like, I don't know why, but ever since I came back here could be, like, a little seasonal depression too, but I have, like, thought a lot about how, like, I feel like I don't have my life together, which is funny because in a professional and, like, education way, I think I have my life together really well.
Right.
Like, I think I'm doing really well in life, but then I'll compare myself to them, and I'm like, "Whoa, this is crazy how I'm gonna be forever alone," and, like, the prime like, once you turn 30, your chances of, like, having a baby with, like, some sort of, like, defect or problem, like,
All right.
they go up from 30, and so I'm like, I'm gonna be 26 when I graduate. I'm not dating anyone right now. Like, I'm literally gonna be, like, alone forever.
I mean,
Like
if having all your close friends getting married, that's some shit. That's crazy.
and, they say that you're supposed to, like, meet your, like, um, like, your future husband in college. I'm like, "Already been through 4 years of college."
Yeah,
Like,
you're like, wait, did I miss
I'm not
something?
even supposed to have the second chance, so, like, something wrong with me? Like, I don't know, I do freak out at night. Like, now, like, my anxiety is, like, really bad now for some reason. Like I said, I think it's seasonal depression, which sounds stupid as hell
No,
when I'm
I
living in
hear you
South
100%.
Carolina. But,
Still,
yeah, I, like, have been struggling with it a lot, and
S
I think, like, a lot of people talk about it, especially, like, people who are going on to, like, higher education and stuff like that, and maybe their first priority, like, is not work in a relationship, whereas, like, I throw all my eggs in the, like, basket with just my
Right.
education and work, and I don't even think about a relationship until, like, I'm gonna be out of school, and then I'm like, "Whoa, that's crazy, all my friends are married, and I'm here on Tinder using a dating app."
Right. Okay, like okay, there's a lot of things that I want to say about that because first of all, I have had friends like um I mean I'm usually like okay with or people are usually okay with me saying their names, but I'll say one for sure is that Noah, who I'm gonna have on soon, is he's like getting married. He has a kid. And so like the fact that he had a kid is like insane to me. It's like because I want to be a dad, but it's like whether or not you think about like the timing of it all, you do get that sense of urgency. It's like there is like an anxiety attached
Yeah,
to it. It's like even though like I'm still this age and I still have like X amount of years until like in the optimal range, like all of my friends
yeah,
around me are doing these things. It's like, am I missing out on something? Like I need to like hold the line. But it's different like for women. Like exactly what you said. It's like after 30, I'm pretty sure like it like ramps up too. Like after like 30, then 31, and like
mhm,
30. I think after like 35, the like chances of birth defects are like insane. And then at 40, it's like you shouldn't have a kid.
yeah,
Like it's almost like being
yeah,
negligent if you try to have a kid at that point. But I could be wrong. But I know that you're right though
and
in the
yeah,
fact that
exactly, and it puts a sense of urgency on it. Yeah,
yeah, that's a
and what
whole
was I gonna
different
say
thing.
about it?
If you're cool with me, I'm
Um,
gonna continue. But if I'm gonna distract you, I won't talk.
no, go what were you gonna
Okay.
do? Go for it.
Well, like I was gonna say, like it's hard because like in grad school, it's almost like you can't even give the relationship like as much effort as you like really need. Especially like if you are working
Yeah,
part time, it's like realistically, I don't know. Like I really like with Tinder and like other dating apps, like it's hard to sort of gauge like what a healthy amount of interaction is. Um,
mhm,
because I'll just like be real. Like my previous relationships, like I probably like spent too much time together, and like I never really figured out like a healthy like how many days per week you're actually supposed to like physically hang out.
yeah,
And so like I feel like in grad school, like you're making like not like cutting corners per se, but like personally, like I don't know how you spend the time to even give texts like full effort in something like pharmacy school or like even med school. Like
and I don't, that's why I text people with intent, and that's why Snapchat's good because I can just randomly talk to people that way.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
but, like, at the same time, like, even my roommates, like, I was leaving to go to work yesterday, and they're like, "You are never here, like, you work so much," and I was like, "Yeah, I pretty much keep myself, like, so preoccupied that I don't think I can even handle a relationship,
Hmm.
let alone I feel like if I wanted to, I could, but, like, I just don't have extra time to put into a relationship, and, like, it would just kinda suck for the other person."
Right. And like with what you're saying too is that you also run into the problem of if it gets to a certain point. I mean, I feel like this is the hard truth of the matter for a lot of relationships, but I feel like a lot of people are in relationships for the sake of being in relationships, and maybe that's not a hot take at all.
Yeah.
Like I feel like maybe a lot of people like intuitively know that. But like I know a lot of people who don't stay single for long at all. Like they are like chronically in relationships. And
Yeah. I don't like that. That could never be me. It's
yeah,
too
like
exhausting.
yeah, like I'll be real, like it's like I'm definitely not a stranger to like getting those feelings of like, damn, I feel like I should be dating someone, or like I feel like uh you know what I mean? But it's like you run into those problems of like
Yeah.
now you're dating by like necessity, which is the opposite of what dating should be, because it should be like something spontaneous. But then
Yeah.
yeah, see, this is why like this is the whole social media thing is that like
I
my whole
know.
view has
I'm like, and
changed just
you know
because of
what?
that. Like I hate
I
having
make
that
myself feel
urgency.
bad at some point. 'Cause I'm like, I have like 3 dating apps that I can use and I'm still single, like,
Oh, like it's
there is something
you're the
wrong with
problem?
me.
I get it.
Yeah, I was
Hmm.
like, I have, like, I don't know, maybe I don't know. I like to say that, like, dating apps make it so much easier for us to find someone, but then at the same, like, time, I think that, like, social media has made it really easy to, like, ruin a relationship as well.
Yes, this is what I wanted to talk about earlier, but this is what I forgot, is that that's what I don't like, is because like there are so many tools for you to, like, if you're overthinking, they're gonna help you overthink. Like they're not gonna stop you from overthinking. Like I was
Mhm.
dating someone at the time that they got rid of the showing Instagram likes, and I was like, thank God, because
Oh, yeah.
like I know that she used it, and it was like, here's a whole story for me to like exemplify what I'm talking about. Is that like even like sharing locations on iPhone, you know what I mean? Like on your iPhone, like
Mhm.
you can, I think it's like find my friends or whatever, but like you can like, in iMessage you can like share locations or whatever it is. Like you can have them like constantly sharing.
Yeah.
And that's something that I didn't want, because I knew that if it was on, then I would be the one to be like impulsively check it. And I feel like that's like the same thing with social media. It's like because it's there, like it generates that anxiety where it's like if it wasn't there, you would be cool. But it's like because it's there, now it's like, you know what I mean? Like it generates that like uncertainty that like may or may not be real. But like what's part of social media were you talking about when you said that before I went on that little tangent?
So, Find My Friends, I have, like I have all my friends on it just so, like, if anything happens, I can see where they are and stuff like that, and I don't find myself checking it that often until, like, maybe my friend's not responding to me and I wanna go see if she's at work or something or, like, where she is, like, maybe she's taking a nap, whatever, I don't care. Because I don't use it, like, weirdly like that, and to be honest, I let's see, I have, like, random people on here. I just like to see people. Like, I don't even check it that often, but, like, I used to have my ex-boyfriend on there forever. Like, I think he just now deleted me off of Find My Friends um 'cause he has a new girlfriend now. And so,
Okay.
like, I mean, I deleted it too, which because I get that. It's kinda weird to have your ex-girlfriend like, having her location and her looking at your location.
Right.
But, like, honestly, I just don't use Find My Friends like that. It's more of, like, where are my friends in danger, number 1? Number 2, like, what are my friends doing if I'm trying to hang out with them, or why aren't they responding to me? Like, I don't
Okay.
use it like that. But, Instagram, yeah. I can see how, like, people will, like, overthink, like, what someone's liking and stuff like that, and honestly,
Well, what were you
it makes
thinking
you
when you said
overthink
that?
things that aren't important. What do you mean?
Okay. Oh yeah, that's definitely true. But like when you said, I forgot exactly what you said, but you said something about dating with that person having social media. I totally forgot what you said. You said something about dating apps, then you said,
Like, a
um,
while ago?
yeah, we were talking about the urgency of seeing people on social media with dating, and then you said, I forgot exactly what you said. Maybe I
Like,
misheard you.
I think it's weird if people don't have a social media.
No, no, no. It was like what you just recently said. Why can I not remember it? Um,
Um,
we were talking about
I don't use Find My Friends like that. I use them to find my
right
actual
before that.
friends.
Right
I have
before
my
talked
ex-boyfriend.
about the Instagram feature, and like you were saying something about dating people on social media or dating people, and then maybe I'll just re-ask you a question. Maybe you'll say it by chance. It was dating someone,
Like I said, this is why I don't do good on Snapchat because I have dementia, I swear to God.
like we was dating people or using the apps and using social media. I try to like pin exactly what you're talking about. Talking about the urgency, talking about using social media or using dating apps. Why can't I remember? Does this not ring any bells?
Um, is it me, like, saying that I feel like I am given, like, all the chances to g find a
Oh,
boyfriend because
maybe that was it. Um,
there are social media apps and stuff like that, and it's technically, like, something I should be taking advantage of it because it should be easy, but also at the same time, I feel like social media ruins
Yeah, yeah,
relationships.
yes, yeah. What was the thing you said about social media ruining relationships? That's what I wanted to hear. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Um, I just think people, like, just use them in ways that they're not intended to, and, like, I'm always seeing on TikTok, like, the newest thing to, like, see what someone's looking at on Snapchat or, like, following their, like, Snap score and stuff like that, and Snap
Oh
score
yeah.
is getting frozen now if you check them too much. Like, you are literally, like, just setting yourself up
Wait,
self
that's
up
the
for
thing?
failure. Yeah,
No, wait. Snap scores get frozen after a certain point.
if someone checks them too often, yeah.
Wow, those were the days, dude. You remember when
Yeah.
Snapchat had best friends
Bro.
or the public best friends? You know what I mean,
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about,
dude?
and I kind of wish they would bring bring 'em back.
The amount of like drama that stirred up was
Oh, I
so like
love it.
it was fun to
But
spectate.
it's
Like
so at the same time, it's so telling. Like, I'm not gonna have someone in my top 3 best friends that, like it's a guy, like, they're either my best friend or it's, like, someone I'm interested in, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
100%.
If if I I don't know, if there were 3 girls on one guy's, like, top 3, like, that's very telling to me, and that kind of
Yeah,
gives me a reality check, and I know what I'm dealing with, and I know I'm
yeah.
not, like, the only one, if that makes sense.
I wonder why they got rid
But
of it.
very unhealthy.
Yeah, I don't know. They should bring it back. There needs to be
They
like a
should bring it
purge
back
thing
just
where
for a
they once
day.
a year.
Just
Yeah,
for a
exactly.
day. To see what's
Because that
going
would
on.
stir so much. I
It
don't know,
would.
but yeah, it's like it's also like I don't know if this is fair. But yeah, like I mean, this is the reason why I started doing this podcast in the first place, is because like I hated when I was like in my own bouts of seasonal depression, like in college, and like I would go online, and the only thing that I would see is like seemingly like perfect like relationships and highlights and stuff, and I was like, I know that's not real, but this is all I see, and it's like
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
want to like you know be in a conversation or like just in a discussion where we talk about like how this is not the truth. So it sucks to see. And it's also like the case where it's like I know a lot of people who have posted like very happy pictures on Instagram with the person they're dating, and then I know how like tumultuous it is behind the scenes, and then like sometimes like
Yeah.
they break up like a week later too. And so
Yeah.
it's like I don't know, like, and I know people's whose social media profiles are like centered around the person who they're dating too. So it's like I don't know, like you see the importance that people project into the relationships on social media, and then I don't know, like I feel like a part of your body like internalizes that like same thing. Like I feel like that's how you felt. Like even though you know Hannah and like the dude who she got married to, and like how long they've been dating, but there's still like a weird sense that you've seen that online, I would imagine. And I could be wrong. Like let me know if I'm wrong, but like
I I honestly don't feel that way. Just 'cause like we talked about this last time, like, I just know how fake social media is, and it just doesn't get to me like that.
okay.
Just like and I think it's funny because there's this one guy, he's been dating this girl for, like, so long, and he's an athlete, and so he thinks that he can, like, get whoever he wants, whatever.
Mm.
And I'm, like, constantly added back in, like, off and on off of Snapchat. I don't even know if, like, him and his girl get in fights or what, but, like, I'm constantly added, like I'm like, "Oh, blank added you back as a friend." I'm like, "Since when did they not have me as a friend?" And it
Hmm.
happens so often, and so I just end up, like, deleting them as friends because 'cause I'm like, "You are doing, like, sus things. I
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing because 'cause I'm not sending you shit, but the
Yeah,
fact
this
that you
goes
add
back
me
to
off and on is a
yeah.
little sus, and I just am not down with that. It's
Going back to
gross.
what we said about like effort and stuff, is that I feel like that's the sort of thing. It's like you have that accessibility to other people where it's like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter who you are. Like everyone has like their own like options, not options, but like backup. I shouldn't say backup plans.
Yeah.
It sounds so shitty, but it's like there are people who you don't talk to when you're dating someone, and then you start talking to them when you're not
Mhm.
dating. But they're usually like
Yeah.
not they're always there, but like usually there are enough people for you to
No,
like
they're
you know
always
what I mean.
there.
So it's like you have like a backup plan, which is why like this is gonna sound like I'm gonna sound like fucking Gary Vee, but like that's why I try to not give myself any back doors, because I'm like if I have myself like if I think that this person is actually like a backup plan, or if I think that this plan is like a backup plan, I'm gonna end up using it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
it's like a shitty practice. So what you said, it's like you can tell that it's sus, especially after it happens like more
Mhm.
than once. You're like, I know something's going
Oh
on.
my god, that happens so many times. I'm like,
Yeah. So
it's just
yeah, I don't know, because that's the thing that you can
but it's
see.
not even that because, like, the
Mm,
people that I feel like if I was in a relationship, I feel like and I got out of a relationship, I could feel like I could fall on these people, like, just as a backup.
mm,
They're not the people that I'm adding and deleting. Not that I add and delete people when I'm in a relationship, but, like, I just I would I don't know, I always have, like, these friendships with people, and so, like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not when I get in relationships, I'm not adding and deleting people
okay.
and then adding them again when I get into a little fight or something.
Yeah, I'm on the same
It's more
page.
like they're always there and they're always friends with me, and then, like but I know if I break up with this person or if they break up with me, like, that this person will always be down, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because sometimes it's just up to you to just not talk to that person. It's a whole different
Yeah,
action to
exactly.
like remove them from your
Exactly, and that's when it gets sus. Like, if you stop talking to them, whatever, that makes sense. Like, I'm not gonna be mad if some guy, like my ex, like, he just obviously, like, stopped sharing his location with me. I get that. He also he also unfollowed me on TikTok, so I'm like, "Whatever." Like,
damn.
I get it. You don't even wanna, like, see me or talk to me, like, that's totally fine. Like, if you got a new girl, like, I would be sus too. Like, if I started talking to this guy and he had his ex's location and she had hers, like, that's super sus. Like, I get
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
but I'm not adding and deleting people like that.
yeah,
It's like a constant relationship.
yeah. I feel like in a lot of times where I've seen people delete and add people are moments when like the person who they're dating says something, or like they
Mhm.
bring up like who's this person, or like what's your like
Oh, I'm
past
sure it
account.
was brought up, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's weird because the whole adding unadding thing is something that you can only see because of social media, and it's like you can't really see that sort of interaction with someone without,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like there's
Like,
no like,
automatically assume the worst pretty much.
yeah. I feel like the polite thing to do is
Yeah,
like just to not. Sorry, keep going. What?
yeah, exactly what you were gonna say, like, the I don't wanna say the correct thing, but, like, the way I handle things is that I'm not gonna talk to someone that I know I might be tempted by, or I know that this conversation is just not gonna be appropriate in a
Right.
relationship while I'm in a relationship with someone else. So I'll
Exactly.
just kinda,
Yeah.
like, steer clear. If they Snapchat me, I don't Snapchat back, like, I'm not enabling anything, and I think that's, like, super important and, like, a whole, like, trust thing too. But also if someone was like, I'm not really nuts about you having this person, blah, blah," and they had, like, a legit reason by it, like, I dated this person or whatever, and it was I don't know, they just, like, didn't trust it. I probably would not have a problem taking them off of social media just
Yeah,
to
I
give them
agree.
peace of mind. But at the same
Right.
time, like, if you want me to delete everyone, like, no,
Yeah, there
it's
is like
not hap
a yeah. There should like, I mean, this is obviously different for everyone, but like the whole you
yeah.
should probably have, I think like exes, like there are some, like if you're casually texting an ex, like you guys are like friends, I feel like that's sort of a thing where it's like if someone, like if your person who you're dating now ask you, I feel like that's
Mhm.
perfectly fine. But it's like, yeah, if you're systematically saying like,
Yeah.
I don't want you talking to that person, you have to delete them. That's where it's like
Yeah, you
that's
like
a
this
red
person's
flag.
picture, it's like, yeah, I follow them on Instagram and they follow me. Why would I not like their photo? Like,
Yeah,
it's just yeah. I don't know.
yeah,
It gets to a blurred line where it's like, what is reasonable to ask someone to do and what is just, like, you overthinking and being insecure.
yeah. I feel like the most, like it always comes down to you too. Like at the end of the day, it's like it's always like there's so much like projection that goes on in like relationships. I mean, at least in my experience, like whenever like, especially after the fact, I'm like, yeah, I was definitely projecting something there, but like it's always like the
Yeah.
most appropriate thing in my situation, like what we're talking about is like, as long as you just don't even entertain, like sometimes like there would be people who you shouldn't be texting in a relationship who texted me, and I would feel just like the need to be like, just to say hi back, or like I'm dating someone. But at the same time, it's like
Yeah.
really nothing should be said, period. Right? Like,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't have, like I just don't have time to, like, have someone text me and be like, "Hey, how are you today?" Like, "No, what do you want from me?" Like, we need to have, like, some reason why you're texting me.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was dating my ex when I came here, and then, like, pharmacy school kinda consumed my life, and I told him, I was like, "This is really shitty, but I just can't have pointless conversations with you because I just don't have time to, and it stresses me out because I feel like I'm wasting time on other things." And, like, I mean, we
Yes. I
didn't
mean,
work out, and it was clearly, like, a distance thing, and, like, I know it was mostly my fault just because I did not wanna have pointless conversations, and yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like one of those rough things, but it's also one of like the blessings where it's like you are on your own shit, and because you're so dedicated to your own shit, it's like it sort of reveals the stuff that like it's not like, yeah, I don't know. It's like an unfortunate, but it's sort of like a blessing that I don't know. Like how did you take that?
I
Like, did
mean,
you think?
I've always, like, put at least, like, myself forward and my, like, education first, and
Mm,
I went to Cincinnati, and I told myself I wasn't gonna date anyone because I knew I was not staying in Cincinnati, and I knew, like, it wasn't even that, like, my life was consumed by school because it wasn't at that point, but I just knew I wasn't gonna be in that city, and it wasn't worth starting a relationship just to have a relationship end.
right.
And, like, obviously, I ended up dating this guy, and, like, it was a good relationship, but, like, in the end, I knew that I shouldn't have started a relationship, and I did, and I knew it wasn't gonna work out, but I thought maybe it would.
Mm,
But I've
hmm.
I've always just kind of been like, "You know what? Like, this comes first in my life, and that's that,"
Okay.
which is kind of, like, unhealthy in a way,
I mean, I
but
respect that personally. I don't know. I mean, I can definitely
'cause
see how you can see that, but
yeah,
I
like,
don't
I
know.
think in a relationship, you need to, like it's not all about you, it is a relationship in the end, and
Mm,
so, like, I do feel bad saying, like, "In the end, like, it's me, like, it's my education, it's whatever," but, like,
okay.
I would also want someone to, like, prioritize our relationship instead of being like, "Oh, well, it's just me, and, like, I'm just worried about myself," you know?
Hmm. Because I was gonna say not the opposite, but like I want someone who like obviously gives a shit about me and the relationship, but like in your situation, and I'm not gonna critique how he acted. You don't have to tell me, but like it's one of those things where like I feel like you would have to sort of like respect your decision because like you know what I mean. It's like you chose this path, and it's like you have
Yeah.
like this is what you're supposed. So I feel like if you were to bitch about that and like try to like anything to like hinder you or like try to like tell you that like you could make time or something like that is like a red flag to me. It's like I don't feel like that's actually someone who like is in love with you. Like I feel like that's someone who has like a codependency or something. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
do agree.
I don't know. But like you're right in the way that's like I need to think about a way to phrase it that's not doesn't sound so selfish because like you're right that you want someone who's gonna like
I know, yeah,
compromise.
it is, like, cause he would even, like he, like, made a point, like, he had a job and, like, he could come down, like, come see me whenever, like, distance won't be an issue, like, all that. By the way, I feel so bad for just, like, completely just throwing out my relationship. Hopefully, he doesn't watch this, but, um, he, like, came down, which was very nice of him, and visited me, but, like, didn't really clear the dates by me, and I had an exam that Monday that he came down, and so the whole time I was just pissed off that he was down here. And that sounds so bad, but, like, I knew I needed to study, like, for this exam, and I knew it was gonna be hard,
Yeah.
and he would always say, like, "Oh, you can study, like, whatever, I'll just hang out with Stella, blah, blah, blah," and I'm like, "It's just I just can't do that, like, you're just pissing me off that you're here, like, I'm supposed to be studying, and when I do bad on this exam, it's gonna be your fault."
I mean, it's a huge
I don't know, I
distraction to
felt
have
like
someone
a bitch.
around, so I hear you. It's no, it's a
Yeah,
lot.
but yeah. He God, poor guy just wanted to, like, see me.
Yeah.
and surprised me, and I was like, "You didn't fucking clear this date with me, dude."
Dude,
Oh,
damn,
I
you're
was so
fucking
mad,
militant.
so
Yeah.
bad.
But yeah, that's like the sort of things where it's like it sucks then, but it's like at the same time it's like those are the shitty ass moments where it's like you have to you have to take it somewhere. Like you have to make a I mean, you don't have to make a decision based off of it, but like the fact that you're like, because I've had those types of moments, like not the same exact moments, but it's like those moments that sort of elicit the same exact type of emotions and the intensity
Yeah.
where it's like this needs to be investigated because this is yeah yeah. So yeah, but anyway, like I feel like we talked about a lot of cool stuff. Do you have any plugs before we cut it out?
Plugs
Plugs as in social media profiles or
as
charity
in, plug my
organizations.
TikTok, get me
All
to
right.
10,000 followers so I can join the join the TikTok creator fund.
What's your TikTok?
I'm kidding. My TikTok right now is Tay, SUY. No, that's not what it is. It's Tay Study. I have to be kinda, like, low key with my social media because I don't
Oh,
want the College of Pharmacy looking at it. So it's
all right.
Tay Study. Tay, SUY. See, I can say it. Tay, SUDY.
Okay.
So that's not even
Got it.
how you like my last name.
Right. It's a little low key. I get it. Okay. All right. If you made it this far, thank you. Otherwise, peace.
Thank you for having me.